Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over an article titled, Why Do You Think You Deserve a King When You Are Not a Queen? And guys, what I like about this article is that the writer is really putting in place women that are like this. In fact, really trashing women that are like this. That feel that they are truly entitled to a guy who would be perceived in society like a king. The top percentage type of guys. And we all know darn well how things are these days is that by and large most women feel entitled to guys like that when mathematically it's impossible because, and we're talking about the top 4, 5, 6% of the population of guys that obviously are very successful, make good money, have a good amount of money, have status, obviously are very good looking, physically appealing, all the sixes, 6 feet tall, 6-figure income and up, 6-pack, more than 6 inches down south, all those things. And like I said, what I like about this is this article, this is written by a woman. And so it's one thing to have guys talk about these things, but it's another when you actually have a woman that points these things out. And she isn't just getting into your average gals that feel entitled to these things. She's also making a point here where she says, you think you deserve a king, but you're not even a queen, meaning unfortunately, the way things have gone over the years is that you got so many women now that are just, let's be honest, have embarrassed themselves so much by their behavior on social media and things like that. OnlyFans, looking for attention and all that. And so you got these women up there that are on Instagram showing off their bodies, these single moms that are mothers that are raising children, and yet they're on social media, particularly Instagram, showing really risque, skimpy pictures of themselves to get attention, or even worse, on OnlyFans and things like that. You feel entitled to a top quality guy when you pretty much are kind of act like trash? Really? And so this woman goes into this whole thing talking about this, and I like that. I like to hear from that perspective. So it starts off, I'll never forget the image of her tongue sticking out of the side of her mouth. She was clad in a nude lingerie set, and she proceeded to hump and gyrate against a large foam hand while she licked her bright lips. The sight of Miley Cyrus on stage with Robin Thicke at the 2013 VMAs is a moment that has been burned into our brains forever. It was a culturally explosive performance. Right before our eyes was the culmination of many years of over-sexualizing women in public spaces. Only this time we weren't even pretending like it was taboo anymore, and it was all being done in the most outrageous, exaggerated fashion. Nothing was too raunchy. Nothing was off limits. Miley Cyrus bent over on stage and twerked herself into Robin Thicke's crotch. She rubbed his private parts. I remember that whole thing. I mean, I can't believe that was 7 years or 8 years ago, but yeah, it seems like yesterday. And I think many of you guys remember that too. I mean, it was like, I didn't watch it live, but I obviously saw clips of it, and you just watch it like, what the hell am I looking at here? We were instructed to fall in line and support this so-called liberation of young women. Anyone who dared to utter a concern about this wildly sexual, disturbingly explicit duet was an old-fashioned sexist who wanted to hold women back from freeing their sexuality. Fast forward several years, and now we have something even more vulgar. WAP by Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion. So many of us can't help but ask, what happened to our culture? What happened to the value and general respect of women? She says, goes on, two damaging cultural narratives at play. As I scratch my head and ponder these questions, I simultaneously witness everywhere, from friends and family, in TV and movies, throughout American culture, the loud cry that it's simply impossible to find a good man to marry. Women complain on Twitter, in reality TV shows, and at dinner parties how difficult it is to lock down a guy who is worthy of their time. Usually these conversations or stories consist of a woman complaining that a man is untrustworthy, unreliable, immature, unable to meet her needs, etc. He can't commit, he can't get his act together, he can't get along with her friends, he can't meet her emotional needs. No matter what the details might be, the message is simple. Really, men suck. So this is something like I've talked about in a lot of videos, guys. You hear this all the time, that the women complain, there are no good men out there. Where are all the real men? You've heard this. And the funny thing is that by and large, most guys are good guys. Are there certainly guys that are scumbags out there? Yeah. Not going to deny that. But by and large, most guys are good guys. The problem is, on one hand, a lot of guys simply don't get it. They're lacking a lot of knowledge to help them be successful in terms of with women. That's the truth, whether they want to be or not. But the other part, most certainly, is women have it in most women, not all, but most women as in this day and age have in their heads that they're entitled to the top percentage guys, just like what I said in the beginning of the video. And in reality, it's like, well, what the hell do you have to offer? You know, you embarrass yourselves on social media. You're not bad looking, but you're not that great looking. You know, you act masculine, you're bossy, you're domineering, not being very, very feminine anymore. A whole laundry list of things. But what makes you feel entitled to these top guys? And then basically, because they can't get them, the thing being said is, where are all the good men? There are no good men anymore. So it's ridiculous. And again, if you're going to behave in ways like I've talked about, don't complain. But right here, she's talking about how, like, different things like what guys are the complaints, right? Like, for instance, right here says, complain that a man is untrustworthy. Well, I don't even need to tap that one. Come on here. What about you? Or unreliable or immature. Well, in terms of immature, women generally mature in certain ways quicker than guys when they're younger, but on some levels, even when they're adults, the immaturity levels are like children. I mean, you all know this, and you guys have been in a relationship know this, especially when there's some kind of disagreement or dispute. All of a sudden, all levels of maturity go right out the door. Unable to meet her needs, what they said here. Well, when that list of needs or wants are so long that your average guy cannot come close to meeting those, because we all know darn well you can't really ever make women happy. What do you expect? Or saying he can't commit. Well, I find that funny in the day and age of so many more women are asking for open relationships or open marriages. And we know darn well women cheat just as much as guys, so I don't want to hear about the complaint about committing. He can't get his act together. Well, define act. He can't get along with her friends. Well, usually when her friends are assholes, the guys are going to get along with them very well. And so on and so forth, you know. And so therefore, men suck. Bullshit. Goes on. This narrative is now coming from even the most unexpected of places. Conservative political commentator and Fox News host Tomi Lahren recently joined in on a tirade against men. And its quote is saying, "It might not be us, it might be men." She said in an Instagram live video, "I think they're trash all over this country. A lot of men don't know how to treat women." Guys, if you didn't see this, go on YouTube now, look up Tomi Lahren and rant or something like that. Back in the summertime, I think it was August, this woman who's on Fox News, this blonde, went on this whole psychotic rant about men, and that men are basically boys, and that she and all her friends, who are there, these very accomplished, successful, beautiful women between like the mid-20s and mid-30s, can't find good guys because they're all boys, and just trashing guys, right? When it's ridiculous, right? I mean, you guys check it out. You'll see what I'm talking about in case you didn't see it. But for those of you who did see that, you know exactly what I'm talking about here. But that's what you get. And like I said before, most guys are good guys. But not every guy is going to be a CEO. Not every guy is going to be over 6 feet tall. Not every guy is going to have the six-figure income or a six-pack or whatever, you know. But guess what? There's a lot of great guys that are 5'10" or 5'11" or make $90,000 a year. Or they might have a six-pack, but they're pretty damn fit anyway. But again, the world now, thanks to the you-know-what movement, making women believe they're entitled to everything, and all the attention and validation that these gals get on social media, and that's men's fault. I always tell guys, stop all the validation on the social media and dating apps and things like that, especially OnlyFans. Any of you guys that are members or subscribe to some girls on OnlyFans, you're fucking morons, and you should delete that immediately. Seriously. But that's how the attitude is in this day and age. Doesn't mean every girl's like that? No. But a lot are, and more and more. And it is any wonder that you have so many now that are in their 30s and 40s when they typically either are beginning to have a family or darn well are thinking about it. They're not meeting the guys they want. They can't have that aspect of life they want to have. And you got where are all the good men? There are all no good men out there, blah, blah, blah. Because the guys that do get it, you got the top percentage guys are either the guys that are obviously successful and all that, which I always urge you guys to better yourselves so you can be. These are the guys that have a lot of success, and they also have the knowledge that about how things really are. They know about marriage and what's going to happen to them and their money if they get married, and or what could possibly happen there. They understand all about female nature, so they're not getting married. They're not even living with the girlfriends anymore. And those types aren't going to settle. Then you got the Chads and Tyrones that are the bad boy types, that girls that they hook up with. They're not going to settle ever. So the ones that the gals really want, they don't want them. So there are no good men, the men are boys, all that, when you got tons of great guys. Had to point all that out because I get new people all the time that haven't seen my previous videos and don't know what I'm talking about here. So it goes on. Add on top of that narrative that has been on the steep rise in our culture, women are simply better than men are in just about every category. This is what people are saying. Hillary Clinton said women are better suited to run countries because they're inclusive and empathetic. Well, I'm not surprised she said that. Even former President Barack Obama said that women are just better leaders than men are. Well, our former president, my observation over the 8 years that he was in office, and obviously when he was running and all that, based on his personality, his body language, how he is with his wife, I never for a second thought that President Obama wore the pants in that relationship in any way, shape, or form. So it doesn't surprise me that he's quoted saying that. Women are responsible for the state of our culture too. It's insane enough that we're pretending like women are guiltless, blameless angels who should be worshipped on a lily pad every day. But what's even worse than this false narrative is that the fact that women are arguably contributing to the downfall of our culture more than men are. Women generally make up the most vulgar, most risque content we see in the media today. They strip their clothes off at the drop of a hat, dance, and wither on the floor, little to nothing, and then turn around and demand that they be treated like queens. I'm sick of pretending that this is perfectly okay. Hence talking about, social media, Instagram, plenty of other things. But yeah, I want respect. Why would you ever think you deserve a king when you act like a classless crass and a trashy woman who has no value for her own sexuality? I realize this sounds harsh, and I'm well accustomed to replies such as, "You're SLUT shaming." But there's a big difference between shaming someone and speaking the difficult truth that few people want to hear. Again, this is written by a woman. The hard truth is only good women attract good men. That difficult truth is, if we want to attract a worthy man who is smart, kind, successful, and a wonderful future father, then we have to be the woman of his dreams too. No matter how much you try to deny it, that dream woman is not someone who dresses promiscuously, flirts with other men, talks freely about explicit sexual acts, and exploits herself on the internet for attention or money. Referring to, obviously, Instagram or OnlyFans. And she also doesn't condone and celebrate that kind of behavior either. At the end of the day, if a woman wants to attract a guy who is a top guy, a 9 or a 10, well, she's got to be a 9 or a 10 herself. And I don't necessarily mean just in terms of looks and body type. Because, you can have a woman that is a 9 or a 10 in the looks and body type department that when you just see her, it's just like, holy crap, she's hot. But she opens her mouth and says one damn thing, and she's a pain in the ass. She has a bad attitude. She's stupid, amongst many other things. If she wants to attract a great guy, then she's got to be a great girl. But it has nothing to do, like I said, with just looks or even maybe her status or accomplishments. It also has some very nice virtues and things like that. And it goes for guys too. You want to attract a top gal, not just with looks, but also good things about her. You got to be at the top of your game too. The obsession with political correctness has prevented us from being able to acknowledge that sexual purity or modesty is in fact a desirable trait in women. A worthy woman is private about her sexuality and shares it only with her boyfriend or her husband. It's time that we put to rest the myth of sexual promiscuity will set us free. There's nothing about sleeping with multiple men that will ever make you feel more cherished, accomplished, or loved. So, if we're really searching for a good man to spend the rest of our lives with, we will reject the cultural narrative that sexually free women are liberated women. Before we put all the blame on men and point our fingers at them, we need to be sure that we're doing everything we can to improve ourselves. At the same time, we can't be afraid to speak up against celebrated moments like Miley Cyrus' VMA performance and Cardi B's latest music video. These are the very displays of women that are harmful and derogatory. And they teach young girls that selling your bodies for everyone to see is a noble thing to do. Dead on. But the thing is, what she's saying right here about, it's time we basically take a look at ourselves and do things to improve ourselves. We all know darn well this goes both ways for men and women. This is human nature. It is far easier to point the finger and blame everybody else for your shortcomings and what you don't have in life than to actually point the finger at yourself and say, here's what I'm doing that's causing me to either have people treat me a certain way or that I don't have these things in life. It's much easier to blame others, and right now what we got with regards to a lot of women, they're not happy because they don't have these things in their lives, the great guys that they feel entitled to. It's easier to blame guys to say there's no good men out there, or where are all the good men, or some bullshit like that. Closing thoughts. Today, personal responsibility is a radical idea. She is 100% dead on about that. But what if we took full responsibility for our lives? What if you changed your lifestyle habits? No more partying, no more drinking, no more sleeping around, no more overeating, no more drama. Well, all of those are possible, but the no more drama thing, good luck, honey. If you put the time and effort into being the dream woman, you have a much easier time finding a man who you can meet and where you're at and fulfill your needs. So there you go, guys. I thought I saw this article and I thought it was pretty funny to read, and what's even better is that it's one thing for a guy to say these things, and we all know this, and I've been saying things in varying degrees like this for quite some time, but when you have a woman take the time to point these things out about her kind, it's something else. But like I said before in the beginning of the video, that's how things are. But I encourage you guys all the time to do everything to improve yourselves, to improve your lives, Get to the gym. Get yourself in good shape. Eat healthy, okay? You'll be so much better and healthier for that. Save your money. Invest it. Grow it. Start that business you always wanted to start. If you don't know where to start researching how you can do that. Talk to people that are experienced. Try to get that promotion at work. All these things to better your lives. Do it for you, okay? Make your lives better. And at the end of the day, for those of you guys that are interested in dating and relationships and all that, that will only help put you at the top, so you then have your choice. But the funny thing is by the time you get there and have worked very hard for all these things and gained all this knowledge along the way, you're going to be like the other top percentage of guys that are not going to get married, that are going to kind of have rotations and things like that, because they know darn well what really is out there. The way the author here, she talks about how she's pointing all these things out and basically say, women, blame yourselves for the lack of things for the not having guys that you want in your life, or the families and all that, kids. But the reality is, the change to how things are right now, it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to be a while. So, like I said in many, many videos, I encourage you guys to do best for yourselves. Do not get married. Because of course, statistically you're going to get divorced and you're going to get hammered with all the things you work so hard to have, not to mention obviously your kids and all that. But also you're not going to be very happy in the marriage anyway, because people are living longer and they lose interest and just people change and you guys have been married, you know this, you 100% know this. So, but do these things to better yourselves, and you're going to have a fun life enjoying yourself. And you can sit back and have a good laugh to all the women that wouldn't have given you the time of day back when you were on the rise, or before you were on the rise. Now you're at the top, and the same women that wouldn't bother with you then now want you, and you're like, not a chance, honey. So, but anyhow, that was a good thing to do, a good article to cover. That was a good one to share. So, all right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this, and be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.